So recently I've been pondering on the old ritual spells from Forbidden Memories and the Game Boy games, and I've been wondering how they can port them into the OCG and TCG. So this is one of the ways I think we could do this, by updating them and making them a little better. Now, for all this stuff, I did some speculation and had some feedback on a couple of cards, so let's get into it. And before we get into it, you can add things like a hard once per turn clause to it to make it more balanced, because I didn't put those there for the sake of speculation and having more openness of what you can do. So we're going to be taking a look at these 8 cards, and let's see what I came up with. First off, we have Cosmo Queen's Prayer. You tribute 1 spellcaster dark monster you control. Special summon 1 dark spellcaster queen monster from your hand, deck, graveyard, or banishment. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Target monsters on your opponent's field up to the number of dark spellcaster queen monsters you control. Equip them to a Cosmo Queen monster you control. Cosmo Queen monsters you control gain attack equal to the combined attack of the monsters equipped to it by this effect. So realistically, if you have 5 queens on the board, because this is also allowing you to summon things like Allure Queen level 3, 5, 7, so you have other options you can do there, because that was the main gimmick of Allure Queen. So giving a spell card option for Cosmo Queen like that can be super useful. So being able to target up to 5 to attach 5 is very strong, but most of the time you're going to be targeting 1 or 2. Now, this card allows you to splash Cosmo Queen with the Allure Queens, because they are the only dark spellcasters in the game that come from the deck. And realistically, you can summon back Galaxy Queen's Light, because she is a dark spellcaster Exceed monster from your graveyard or banishment. Now, let's get into the other cards. We have Curse of the Millennium Shield, and you contribute 1 Earth Warrior monster you control. I'm keeping the same scheme of tributing a monster with the same type and attribute of it to your field, or on your field, so you can special them from your deck, hand, grave, whatever. So this one is tribute 1 Earth Warrior monster you control, special summon 1 Millennium Shield or Shield of the Millennium Dynasty from your hand, deck, graveyard, or banishment. If a Millennium Shield or Shield of Millennium Dynasty is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. So this is a tie-in they can do for the new Gold or Sarcophagus of Light. I believe it is Shining Sarcophagus in the TCG, another way to tie these old cards into it, so you have ways to get to the vanilla versions and the other versions. And that is kind of what happened with a couple of them. But next up, let's get to Curse of Tryhorn Dragon. I do want to note for this one, in the OCG, White Horned Dragon is White Horns Dragon. So that would be a thing that they would have to change via text, or just add a condition to it, or a clause to it. But Curse of Tryhorn Dragon is tribute 1 Dark Dragon monster you control. Special summon 1 Horned Dragon monster from your hand, deck, graveyard, or banishment. The targets are your Tryhorn Dragon, Momental Horn Dragon, and White Horn Dragon, if they were to fix it. You can banish this card from your graveyard. This turn, if a Horned Dragon monster you control attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing battle damage to your opponent. So this is one thing that I've always thought of that the Horned Dragons could do, was pierce. And it would give that wave of nostalgia to a lot of people, because when you think Tryhorn Dragon, you think, oh, sharp horns, it's probably piercing. So it's just one of those things, a play off the actual card and how the art looks. And in my opinion, I really love Tryhorn Dragons, so giving him piercing damage would definitely be something. After that, we have Gate Guardian Ritual. This was a fun one to do, because we got new Gate Guardian support recently, and I was sad that we didn't get this card in some form or shape that was printed. But this is tribute 1 Sanga of the Thunder, Kazujin, and Suijin you control. Special summon 1 level 12 or lower Gate Guardian monster from your deck or extra deck, ignoring its summoning condition. If a Gate Guardian monster would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you could banish this card instead. A few of the cards have that banish this card instead because either they've gotten support like the Millennium Shield or like the Gate Guardian, so realistically it was either that or give them something else. But after that we have Revival of Senin. Now this is a card for Senin, and you tribute one Earth Beast Warrior monster you control. You special summon one Senin or the caveman that awoke after Millennium from your hand, deck, graveyard, or banishment. You can banish this card from your graveyard. This turn, all Millennium monsters and Senin you control gain 300 attack for each Millennium monster and Senin on your field, graveyard, and banishment. So realistically, it gives another way to get to Caveman or even Senin, because we had the Senin retrain recently, and it mentioned Senin by text, so this is one of the things that I think would have been cool that they would have done and used this artwork for the actual archetype. A couple of these artworks as well. So quite a lot that they could do with some unused card arts. But realistically, giving them attack boost for each Senin and Millennium monster isn't really the biggest of deals. This is more to get out pieces of your combo without having to really going through the effort. After that, we have Revive Serpent Knight Dragon. Now, this one I tied in with another card because you attribute one Dark Dragon monster you control. Special summon one Serpent Knight Dragon from your hand, deck, graveyard, or banishment. Realistically, all but one have that text. You can banish this card and one Dark Dragon monster from your graveyard. Special summon one Seiyar from your hand, deck, or graveyard, or banishment, but its attack defense becomes 0 and it becomes dark until the end of this turn. So realistically, you're attributing a Dark Dragon to summon out Serpent Knight Dragon, then you're banishing it and the dragon that you just attributed to summon out Seiyar. So you can go into a Link 2 Dragon, a rank 7, or whatever you really need. Or you can even fusion summon into First of the Dragons, so there's many things you could do with this card, which I really do like opening up the floodgates to that. Next up we have, I'm going to skip that one for right now. Let's talk about Yamron Ritual. This is going to be a very interesting card because it tributes one Fire Dragon monster you control. Special summon one Yamron from your hand, deck, graveyard, or banishment. If you control Yamron, you can banish this card from your graveyard. Then target monsters your opponent controls up to the number of Fire Dragon monsters you control. The attack and defense of those monsters become 0. Also, negate their effects. So being able to use this in something like, I don't know, Tenpai Dragon could be very cool because Yamron is a level 5 and you could do level 8 synchros for certain plays. So realistically, this would be very cool to run in the deck if we had access to it. Just a funny little tech card if you want to have fun. And then finally, the card that I skipped over, which should have been last, being Ultimate Dragon. This is the ritual spell for Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, and I kept it in the same spirits, but also updated it with a little knowledge from the Rush side of things. You fusion summon one level 8 or higher Blue Eyes monster by sending up to 3 Blue Eyes monsters from your hand, field, or deck to the graveyard. This turn it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. You can banish this card from your graveyard, except the turn it was sent there. Special summon 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons from your hand, deck, and or graveyard. So realistically, making you having to run 3 of the vanilla Blue Eyes White Dragon if you want to use that banish effect. But you can also summon, I believe, something like Alternative Dragon, but I don't know. It's been so long since I've touched Blue Eyes. But being able to fusion summon any of your Blue Eyes monsters for just off the activation of a card is super powerful, but it's still ashable because that's why I added the graveyard part to it. And honestly, these were 8 of the cards that I was sitting down and tinkering around thinking how they could import them to the OCG TCG. And I want to know what you guys think about these. But anyways, I hope you guys did enjoy this video. But anyways, I've been Bolt Spider. See you all in the next video.